Hello, my name is Ayana Sabbas, and my project is mainly focusing on the incorporation between traditional ecological knowledge and the sciences of the natural resources. I worked with Tulalip tribes, and my site supervisors were Jason and Melissa Gobin, and my faculty advisor was Charlotte Cote. My project mainly focuses on the importance of utilizing and seeing traditional ecological knowledge outside of just humanities and maybe seeing it in the sciences of natural resource management. I go on to define traditional ecological knowledge to be the knowledge gathered by indigenous peoples from their intimate relationship they have with the land and has been gathered for millennia. I feel that it is important to have more representation of native and indigenous knowledge as well as people into the natural resource management field, um, which leads into my research question on what comes from bridging traditional knowledge and the Western sciences, focusing mainly in on natural resources. I gathered this data from from my internship by both working closely with the educational outreach department and working on a summer program with the educational outreach department. Was called Fish Camp and mainly worked with Indigenous youth. I also interviewed tribal community members and experts from Tulalip Tribes Natural Resources, as well as researching academic articles and journals of systems that have implemented traditional knowledge into their systems of science and management knowledge. The 4 points that I came across that really stood out to me were holistic perspective, which is the utilization of all tools and knowledges. TEK especially has ways of adding to Western sciences and leading into my next point of inclusivity. Bridging these two, it allows more diversity, and then with diversity, we see more people coming into the field, such as Indigenous members of the community. Local context from observation. This is mainly focusing on the intricacy of this data. TEK is different from different tribes and even different from family to family. And so using this knowledge would benefit all. And then lastly, cultural preservation. Bridging this knowledge, it goes on to preserve the traditional knowledge as well as acknowledging that connection and intimate relationship Indigenous peoples have with the land. The requirements of a system like this come from both sides wanting to work with one another and creating constant opportunities for cooperation, as well as acknowledging that there needs to be a system that benefits and protects the knowledge and the people. I saw this firsthand with the case study I did with educational outreach. The Indigenous youth got to experience it out in the field, as well as the familiarity of their traditional knowledge that comes from their tribe as well as even their families, and seeing that it allowed more familiarity for Indigenous youth to feel that they belong within the field and can contribute. My first-hand experience with both researching and seeing this implementation of traditional knowledge into the sciences of natural resource managing was that it creates more diversity at first, and that is very important. And that gathering this knowledge, it creates opportunities for differing thought, as well as more engagement from the community, creating a stronger community. On a larger scale, I saw that, well, I acknowledge that TEK isn't the only solution, but is rather a building block for both the Western sciences and can round out one another. And that this is a really interesting area of research, and I implore you all to continue researching and to go about so respectfully and willing to listen and learn from the Indigenous communities. That was my presentation. I wanted to lastly thank my site supervisors, Jason and Melissa Gobin, and my organization, Tulalip Tribes Natural Resources, for giving me such great opportunities. All right. Thank you.